Last week, ElevenLabs released what they're calling the world's most accurate transcription model. As I'm currently on the market for the best tool to create captions for my videos, I wanted to see if this really was the most accurate. And what better way to test Scribe than by putting it against their competitors. So we've got Scribe by ElevenLabs, we have Assembly AI, we have Whisper by OpenAI, their large version 3 model, Nova 3 by Deepgram, and Adobe Podcast, which I've been using before. Each one of these audio clips I've transcribed manually just to make sure it's really highly accurate, and then compared that original transcript that I created against each one of these tools to show you how good they are at transcribing from the original. So let's jump in. And the first example we're going to look at is a previous clip that I used in one of my old videos. And as you can tell, it's a little bit of just clean audio, no background noise. So I'll play a little bit for you now so you can see the quality. Previously, companies relied on few approaches. As you can tell, it's not too bad quality. So let's look at the results. So Adobe Podcast here won. Now I was really surprised. I thought that ElevenLabs actually would take it here, but they all kind of stumbled on a few key areas. Kling AI was only picked up by Adobe Podcast. None of the others picked that up. And then a few words wrong here and there. But overall, I think they did a pretty good job, and Podcast took away here. Let's look at the second example now. And for the second example is me speaking really fast. I wanted to see how these models would transcribe my words if I spoke much faster than I normally would. So here's a sneak peek at what that sounds like. So this is me talking really fast, and we're going to be able to see whether or not the transcription connects. As you can tell, I try to go really fast. It's not as fast as you probably could. And here are the results. So ElevenLabs knocked it out the park here. 100%. I don't really think, besides some punctuation, there's any issues here. Really accurate compared to the original. Nova, Deepgram, not too bad. It had a few stumbling here and there around a few of the words in the end. And then Assembly, Whisper, and Podcast again kind of fell off the bandwagon there. So ElevenLabs knocked it out of the park for this example. Let's jump on to the third example. And for the third example, what I've done is I've chosen an audio clip which has a lot of background noise. So there's cars, there's people, there's planes overhead. And let me play that for you now so you can see what it sounds like. If you ever recorded audio in not great conditions with background noise and a lot going on, you can actually make... As you can tell, it is quite noisy. So let's just jump to the results and see which one did best. And Scribe and Assembly AI did the best. Honestly, this one, little caveat, where Scribe got it wrong for and or, it could have been either actually. When I was listening it to myself, I couldn't actually tell. So to be honest, Scribe I'd put at 100%. Podcast did alright, so did Whisper, and Nova 3 struggled with the extra noise. So we're going to jump on to a fourth example, and this one is a bit noisy, but it's a bit longer. And for the fourth example is the same, background noise, traffic, planes, but this one goes for a little bit longer just to see which one of the AIs actually works better in terms of transcribing it. So give you a bit of a sample of what that sounds like now. What better way to show you the capabilities than by actually using a live demonstration? Okay, let's go straight to the results. And Scribe knocked it out of the park here. Honestly, I was doing the original and I was looking at the Scribe output and it was near perfect, honestly. I think 99% is underselling it. It's probably 100%. It did really well. I'm not sure what the model they're using, but it shows that even with background noise, it's really foolproof on the transcription. Don't know what happened with the first example. So again, I might have to run a few more tests to see about that, but Scribe definitely is winning here. Nova 3 as well did really well, considering how it was last place in the previous example 3. And Podcast and OpenAI did all right, not too bad. And same with Assembly AI. So honestly, background noise doesn't seem to really affect these models. They can understand and transcribe what you say. I think it's just more based on the speaker's accent and just the way they talk. So let's jump on to a completely different example, and this is a multi-person example. So let's jump to it. And for the last example, what I wanted to do is take an audio clip that has multiple speakers and see which one of the AIs could actually discern each of the speakers and see if it could remember which speaker was speaking and at what time. So what I did is I jumped into ElevenLabs. I used my clone voice and two voices I just borrowed off ElevenLabs, generated this audio clip, and then fed it back into the AIs. Now, Whisper does have a Whisper X on GitHub. I couldn't get it to work, which does allow you to do multi-speakers, so unfortunately I couldn't get that working. However, Scribe, Assembly AI, and Nova 3 all allow you to discern different speakers. And yeah, let's just have a play of the audio that I used and uploaded for them.
A coincidence, isn't it? Three strangers with the same birthday.
In my homeland, we have a saying, when three paths unexpectedly meet, fate is at work.
Or maybe it's just chance having a bit of fun.
as you can tell, the back and forth is quite good. So here are the results. As you can see, Scribe and Assembly AI did really well. Scribe knocked out the park, and Assembly AI was actually pretty good as well. A few capital letters, so I wouldn't actually count that, to be honest. It got the words right, which I think is the biggest thing. And then Deepgram didn't do too bad, all things considering. So, but again, Scribe did really well. So on to the results. What I did is I took the position of each of the rankings. So if you came first, you got 5 points, second 4 points, etc., all the way down. Added this up. I only did the first 4 examples, as the last one was the multi-speaker, which I'm discounting that at the moment just because not all models can do that. And if we look at the results of just those first 4 examples, we see ElevenLabs as a clear winner here with 17, followed by second place of tied between Adobe Podcast and Assembly AI. Now, to be honest, I think ElevenLabs did really well here. I'm not sure what happened in the first example when they came fourth. I'll probably need to run a few more tests, but honestly, the actual real world tests that I've been running outside of this as well, there's just too many examples to kind of give and edit. It's actually done really well. What I always do now is I'll upload it to ElevenLabs, transcribe the audio, just double check it, read it while I'm listening to the audio, and as I said, 95% of the actual transcription is correct. So if you want to try out the best model, jump onto ElevenLabs website and give it a go. I personally will be using it going forward. If you don't have access to that, Podcast is also there, Assembly AI, Deepgram, Whisper. And Whisper is quite good because it is free and you can run it on your own machine, which I did here. You can even use the large model if you have a beefy enough machine like myself. So yeah, that's it. ElevenLabs really did knock it out of the park, and they are world's I think they said world's best transcription model currently, and it seems to live up to that promise. So yeah, great to see how 2025 goes and if there's any other models that beat it. So thanks for joining, and yeah, subscribe and like if you haven't done so already.